There we go. Got it.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pizazz News. Today, I have a wonderful, wonderful person that I'm interviewing, David Lautman, who is in LA. He is a successful commercial actor, and he also writes, and he does many things. And I'm really pleased to introduce him to you at the start of 2022. So, welcome, David, to Pizazz News.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it was just marvelous. Like it was just a wonderful. You're a wonderful breath of fresh air.
I feel the same about you.
Going through a post-apocalyptic, diseased sort of global state. So
right. And somehow coming out bright and with smiles and positivity.
That's
even
right.
The world is aflame.
Look, it can't get any worse. Everyone's vaccinated now, and we've got masks and
hopefully boosted too. I know I boosted as soon as I can. Not making any political statement. You can boost if you want, but if you don't, I did.
You can boost if you want. Well, yeah, I think we're all going to have to boost. Like, they're strongly encouraging it, you know. First, you know, they get the vaccines out, and then they, oh, look, you know, let's get a boost too, because there's all these variants coming. But it's a blessing that we've got this wonderful technology to communicate across different countries. And I was actually contacted by Daryl, who does your promotions. I know that you've got a whole team of people supporting you, and so they should, because you're a really wonderful person.
Thank you. You can't do it without a team.
I only like to have wonderful people on Pizazz News. I really do try to. It doesn't take me long to kind of sift out people that I don't think they'll be right for Pizazz, and they'll be right, maybe right for something else. But for God's sake, like, I'm doing this for pleasure and joy. You know, I don't want to do this. I don't want to help people that are nasty, horrible people. You're not a nasty, horrible person.
I don't think so. I think I'm generally pretty nice. Yeah, it's funny because I just had this virtual audition the other day, and it was actually, so the team that was casting, they were in Japan, and after they did a take, what's it called? They were like collaborating in Japanese, and then so I remembered some words, and I asked my sister later, like, what is this word? And she's like, oh, they were saying that, like, there was one point where your face was too nice, is what they were saying. And I'm like, well, you know, I don't know if I can help that. I just my resting bitch face. I don't know if I can. Face is resting nice guy face. That's
great. That's too crazy. I mean, it's hard to be everything to everybody, isn't it? And I guess, I mean, if I was trying to impress somebody for work, I'd probably go in trying to be nice, and then if that didn't work, I guess But you know, some people are really complicated, as you know, like you would know.
Yeah.
You come across complicated people who don't want nice because they're in a shitty mood themselves, or who knows what's happened. And
I learned better, because I used to be the guy that would go in and be like, I can fix this. Watch this, everybody. Like I'm a Boy Scout trying to earn a merit badge, you know. I can even remember, like, years ago, like when I was first getting into acting, like being on, like, I did anything. Like I was doing like little student films. I was doing extra work. I just wanted to learn. And I remember like being an extra, and then there was another extra, and he was just in a foul mood. I'm like, watch this, guys. I'm gonna become this guy's best friend. And I did it.
You did it?
I'm like, wow. I think I left with some of his negativity. So I'm like, you know what?
Oh no.
Let's relax on the trying to convert people to a positive vibe. That's not my job, you know.
So I wanted to ask you, because you are, and we talked about this before I'm making this statement, that you are making a living from acting. So you are actually making a living. You're not like, I can't call myself a working. You are actually a working actor who's successfully able to manage the world, like, with what you're doing. And a lot of that is, you've done over 80 commercials. And you're so I know from Daryl, because he'll let me know, your PR man straight away.
Yeah.
Oh, Daryl, he's really great. I like Daryl. Daryl's great because he lets me know what I need to know about you. That you're the national spokesperson for car gurus. So car gurus is a pretty big deal. And I imagine you got, I'm not going to ask you how much you got paid, but I imagine quite well. You can tell me if you want later, not now.
Yeah, later. Out there.
What was that like? Like your auditions were then?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. So, okay. First of all, the whole audition process happened during COVID. So, I believe it was 2020, pretty, well into COVID when we started casting. And this actually is probably one of my last like in-persons. Like this was an in-person audition.
Okay.
And what was interesting about what I really remember is that I was super prepared, right? I had my lines down, which is the bare minimum. Like the bare minimum of an actor is like have your lines down, right? And then make some strong choices, right? So I remember going in and, we did the audition. And then on my way out, the casting associate or the session runner, she was saying like, hey, by the way, like, thanks for knowing your lines. Like you'd be surprised, but like so many people have come in and like, they didn't, like you could tell that like they weren't prepared and they didn't even have their lines. And I knew it. I had it down. It was memorized. And I was like, yeah, that's like, is that not normal? Like, are people coming in? Like, yeah, you'd be surprised. So that was the first step, I think, is just like approaching it. And I think that's kind of one of the secrets is like, be a professional. And, I had a great coach, Killian McHugh, who runs a workshop in Los Angeles, a commercial acting workshop. And one of the stories that he tells is about, they were casting this, I believe it was a Jack in the Box commercial. And we'll get back to car gurus in a second, but I think it's
okay.
So he was talking about they were casting this Jack in the Box commercial, right?
Okay, Jack in the Box isn't it?
Yeah, Hardee's, they make the burgers and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And in fact, they actually have very creative commercials.
Oh, do they make burgers? Jack. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, Jack in the Box. Yeah, the burgers, fries, chicken sandwiches.
We haven't gotten that yet in Australia. I'm missing out.
You don't have Jack. I didn't know that. You guys don't have Jack in the Box.
I'm not aware of Jack in the Box, but in Australia, I'd be there. I'd try it.
New today. Okay. Yeah. Well, out in the United States, it's a very one of the biggest fast food chains, up with McDonald's, which you guys do. You guys have
McDonald's. McDonald's is everywhere.
Yeah, McDonald's, Burger King, it's up there, KFC.
Yeah.
So, okay, so not to get too far away from the story is they were casting one of these spots and the client was very specific about, they said, we only want to audition actors that are series regulars on television shows.
Okay.
And so Killian at the time, like now he's an acting coach, but back then he used to be a session runner and he also would work in the casting offices. So he was there when all this discussion was happening. And the problem was that all the series regulars who are working on TV, they're working. So it's like, yeah, like you can't like, but they were like, all right, we can get some of them in, like the ones that are on hiatus or in between projects, but most of these people that are series regulars are working.
Yeah.
Right. So they're like, okay, well, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to just audition regular actors that are non-series regulars, like in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we'll bring in like whatever series regulars can attend. Great. So on the day of the casting, the non-series regulars come in and, like some of them are prepared. Some of them are not, they're not necessarily, not everyone's like got their lines down. Not everyone's making interesting, unique, fun choices or doing buttons, which a button for the viewers that don't know, that's at the end of the scene. Let's say the last line is like, thanks for visiting Jack in the Box today, right? Then you could be like, a button could be like, and come back, like, or just like, you just add something at the end, a button, just to like top it off. And so none of these, like the regular actors that came in were really kind of doing that.
Aware. Right? They didn't know.
Aware of this, right?
Yeah.
But what was really fascinating was once the series regulars came in after lunch, it was a whole different ballgame. Every single actor, the key is they approached this commercial like it was their TV show. They approached it with the same preparation and care that they would into being a series regular on a television show they did that for this little commercial, you know, that is 30 seconds on TV. And that's why they're series regulars, because they're doing backstory, you know, like why, like if I'm an employee at Jack in the Box, how long have I been working here? Right? Why do I work here? What are my plans? Do I want to own this one day? Do I want to be like a manager? Do I want to, you know, what? So backstory is important, making fun choices, knowing everybody knows the series regulars come in, everybody knows their lines. And when you know your lines and stuff like that, then you can really play.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I mean, even someone who was like working at Jack in the Box, let's just say somebody younger, you know, like a younger person, that they might not want to grow in that company, but they might say be doing a degree in medicine and this is their part-time job, but they still take it seriously because they need to do that in order to do the other thing. So, but I mean, somebody who goes, oh, I hate, like you wouldn't want to be an actor who'd show up and go, I don't want to fucking work in Jack in the Box or a burger joint. It's like, and then, I mean, that would come across as, I don't like this. And so obviously I can't imagine somebody would hire somebody that's going to go, I don't want to be here. Like that'd be a very strange choice.
You know what is the thing is, like in the audition process, so many actors go in just thinking like, I'm going to wing it. Like it's just a commercial audition. Like what, it's like 3 lines, like it's a 30-second spot. You're going to have like at the most like 25 seconds of dialogue, right? Because like 5 seconds for the end card at the end, the bumper at the end. So yeah, people have that approach like, oh, I guess I'll be here. But that's not what it takes to win, you know?
No.
The prep.
So would you say to any young, I'm just turning you into a teacher for up and coming.
Yeah, no.
Why not? You don't.
Yeah,
you've already got car gurus. You've already got your spots. People know who you are. So would you? People know who you are. They will know after this how great you are. In order to so your advice would be if you're going to do something, even like acting, any kind of creative endeavor, to treat it with kind of sacredness and respect, and treat it like something you really want. Because
I would say like sorry to interrupt, but like on an existential like plane, if you think about like movies, TV, commercials, like, you know, the average lifespan of an actor is like what, 75, 85 years? Well, film and TV is going to live on indefinitely. So if you're like, that's something that is going to never die. So we have to make sure to give life to those characters, because that life is going to live on forever while our mortal souls, you know, go 6 feet under. So it's that's like give those characters the respect they deserve.
Yeah.
So
and you know, not only that, like, I like to watch all kinds of things. I've got lots of different streaming services. I've got Netflix, I've got Stan, I've got Disney Plus, I've got Paramount Plus. That's just a new one that I've added. I've got Binge, you know, and I'll probably add some more like Peacock, because I liked the one that I looked at the trailer for Angeline that you're in, and I thought that looks really good. And sometimes I'll get something because they've got that one show that looks interesting to me. It's like, oh, I want to get it because they've got that and the others don't. So in Australia, it's a bit more kind of, I think it's a bit more competitive, because not everyone, Netflix won't have everything, and Stan won't have, you know, everyone's kind of individual.
Right.
But I mean, I watch things like zombies, like vampires, zombies, and serious shit, and comedies and stand-ups, and I watch everything. Like, I've got some really shit taste.
Well, me too.
Watch zombie. I love that shit, because
everything you just said I watch too. So I guess I got taste.
And to me, it's like, you know, it's I do have a soft spot for comedians, stand-ups, and actors and things, because it's, I mean, somebody's got to do that stuff. I mean, somebody has to do that stuff to entertain the world, because the world can be a pretty sad, depressing, stressful place, you know.
Definitely.
And we need to be entertained. I think that we need to laugh, and laughter is very therapeutic. You know, it's like,
you're going to say contagious.
It's contagious in a good way.
some kind of COVID joke there somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, it is good. It's positive. It's you know, and it's and I think also like sometimes, you know, with younger people can get into that more, but they might want to do it, but their parents may not want them to, because it's like, oh no, go do dentistry, like no, go do accounting, go do lawyering. It's safer than acting or singing or
yeah, and I definitely went through that. You know, my parents growing up, you know, in my house, I was pushed to become a lawyer, you know, a doctor, the very typical professions of that's expected from like a Jewish mother, you know, like, and and I'm actually a German Jew, so Lautman is like a German last name, but also Jewish. And
I love that. It's a German Jew.
Yeah, I got picked on a lot, like as a kid. Like they would say, like the jokes didn't even make sense. They would be like, "Oh, so you must like punch yourself while you're asleep, right? Like while you're sleeping, you're a German Jew." Like, yeah, I still punch myself. Like after that joke, I'm definitely going to be punching myself in my sleep.
So your mom's Jewish and your dad's German?
No, so my dad is also German. He's Jewish German. So he was born actually in a displaced persons camp at the end of the Holocaust in Germany.
Okay.
So we actually have like Polish in us, but let's see, he was actually born, so he was in the DP camp, but his mom was from Galicia, which it was, the thing is, like, we just say Austria-Hungary, because like the borders were changing constantly. So
that's right. Yeah. That's great. I always get along well with Jews. I actually have a Middle Eastern background myself. So
oh wow, okay, very cool.
I have an Egyptian Greek background. So
oh my god, no, that's really cool.
Yeah, well, it can be. But, you know, like you know, certain like non-white ethnicities are very they have, you know, when you grow up in a different culture, you're aware of, you've got the culture in the household and you've also got the cultures outside, the hegemonic white culture. And it's like, and so I've always felt that, you know, having a different familial background has always given me the advantage of understanding like Asians. I can understand Asians, I can understand Serbs, I can understand Jews, I can, you know, understand Swiss, different people. And I think sometimes it can be harder when you're white and haven't integrated or befriended other cultures to understand that, you know what, not everybody thinks that way. You know, for some people it's normal for children to, I have like a lot of African friends and they weren't raised by their mothers, they were raised actually by their grandmothers or their aunties.
Right.
And the mothers went off and worked or did different things, and that was normal, you know. So some other cultures, that's like, what a terrible parent. But it's like, yeah, but you had the love of the grandmother, which is like that of the mother, and even better.
Right. The
some would say.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I grew up with a lot of Israeli friends.
Okay.
And like that was like kind of, to be honest, a culture shock. It's, you know, because this is like, this is a country that is like always on the defensive, you know, and it's like, so it kind of breeds personalities that are big, loud, bold. And so that was hard for me to deal with because I grew up as a very shy, introverted kid. And all these friends were loud and obnoxious, you know, and but so the thing is, now I'm obnoxious. Like now that I grew up, I can be an obnoxious.
Now you're obnoxious.
Loud actor, yeah.
Now you're a loud actor. That's terrific.
A loud man, yeah.
You're a loud man. Yeah, I was probably.
By the way, that's actually that's the translation of Lautman in German.
Lautman.
Yeah.
Lautman. That'd be really hard to explain, I guess. Do you also, like, were you raised in a religion or?
Yeah, I was actually raised Orthodox Jewish. I went to Hebrew school for almost all of my education, like up until I believe it was like maybe my I think it was my junior year. my senior year of high school, I went to public because I was like, you know what, I need to experience what it's like outside this bubble, because, you know, it's great. There's a lot of great things about the Jewish education system, but there's a lot of things also that like you miss out on. So that's why I was like, you know what, and it was a bold move, I gotta say. Like
you're lucky you were able to.
I was allowed to.
I had a Catholic upbringing, and I begged my parents to send me state. Like I wanted public, but they were like, no way. It's because I wanted the freedom of fucking up, and I wasn't allowed to. I was. They wanted me to be a certain way, as you would know. You know, your parents want you to be a certain way. They're spending all this money on you to get this great education. It's like, this should equal that. And it's like, this isn't equaling that. This is not. It's
absolutely, yeah.
You know, it's,
and also, I needed the culture shock of going to a public school, because I was going to a school where it was just me. It was like an all boys school, right? And we were all Jewish boys, some Israelis, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, and so when I went to public, it was like my eyes were like, oh wow, now I'm becoming friends with all these different people that I would never have otherwise interacted with, and a lot of them I'm still friends with to today. And
was that in LA?
That was in Los Angeles. Yeah, I went to Ulysses S. Grant High School. And then afterwards, like the natural progression is literally next door. Like the other side of the wall is Los Angeles Valley College. So most people that go to Ulysses S. Grant then go to Los Angeles Valley.
Did you?
That's where I went after.
You did?
I did, yeah.
So you did what was expected, but what did you study?
So I went right into the theater department. That's what was calling my name. You know, actually, with that said, I was also considering going into the TV department. Like I was like either TV or theater, but I felt that I wanted to kind of get more of a background in like traditional type of theater, right? And like do the classics, do Shakespeare. And that's kind of what started my path. The very first play I ever did was in middle school, right? And that was actually a surprise that there was like a Jewish school that was like allowing us to do a play. But we did the old Scottish play, and I played the drunken porter, which, by the way, the movie just came out with Denzel Washington played the Macbeth. And it was fantastic. The Coen brothers, I believe, directed. Just a stunning movie. But anyways, that play, that's what kind of gave me that little, the role, first of all, the drunken porter is it's a comedic role, right? He's drunk, he's a mess, and he lets in the people into the to discover, I believe, that the king has been murdered, right? So it's a chance for the play to kind of like have that comedic relief. And when I went on stage, or actually we performed in a classroom, to be quite honest. And when I went on stage and everybody was laughing at the performance, not laughing at me, but laughing at what I was doing, I was like, that's when I got hooked. That was like such a powerful moment. And ironically,
because you were able to affect people in a really positive way.
Exactly. Yeah. Give people laughter, you know, and that kind of goes back to like one of my core beliefs is just that, like, you know, is that life can be really difficult and stuff like that. And what I want to do is give people a little bit of a release and just from their lives, and just be able to like immerse themselves into a world where they're laughing and having fun, or, you know, and responding to characters, and hopefully maybe also delivering some positive messaging. But anyways, to get back into it, I did this performance, and that's what hooked me. But then it wasn't really until now high school, they didn't offer, because it was private high school, they didn't offer any electives like theater. There was no theater department, no music department, no.
Oh, the parents would have loved that. That would have been, yes.
Yeah, but when I went to Ulysses S. Grant High School, they started to have this, so I started getting the bug again. And then in college, that's when I attacked that theater department. I'm like, I'm just eating it all up. Yeah,
I do understand that. I had that bug when I was younger. I get that thrill now when I write, and I guess when I help people, you know, do what they want to do, it makes me feel good too. It's just how I get it. I don't get it so much. For me, it's kind of, I don't get it so much from. I like making people laugh. I mean, I can do that naturally, and I like that. I don't like the fact of like having to, because I have played around with the idea of like writing comedy things, you know, like from a woman's point of view, and there's just so much shit out there women can do. You know, oh, men for starters, oh God, there's so much you could say about that. But there's also things you can't say about that. And that takes away the joy of it. It's like, and I think that's always something, any kind of creative endeavor that one has, you can do what you want to do, but also it's like, what are you hoping to get out of it? And what will your audience be? Are they going to be happy about it? Or do you care if they're happy about it? Or like you do some independent projects yourself.
Yes.
And how much does that play in your mind about how an audience will receive what you're doing?
Okay, so very specifically, like if I'm writing for something like my sketch comedy team, so we have a YouTube channel, Spoof Troop. So you can go to spooftroop.com to see it.
Yep, spooftroop.com. Yep.
Right, and
I'll put it in the comments.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So for something like that, the goal is always make these people laugh, right? And hopefully millions of views. And we've had some success with that. And obviously, you know, you can't please.
Do you do like Jewish stuff in that? Do you like play on your Jewish?
You know, it's interesting.
Or German, or do you do German?
Wait, like characters or something?
Yeah.
You know,
because you could.
I think I've probably over the years I've probably done both. I know I for sure have played a rabbi on that channel, but generally
like a Hasidic Jew with the
yeah, almost, yeah, pretty much. Like actually we did like, it was like a Doritos type of parody commercial where this rabbi accidentally eats Doritos because because there's like a sign pointing to kosher, but it was actually just pointing to a kosher water bottle. And it was supposed to, and then I accidentally got switched the other way to like Doritos. And so now the rabbi gets caught eating these like not kosher Doritos. So very risque. We do like very risque stuff. No.
Well, that is.
It is a little bit, but
you could send that to Doritos, but they'll change that to kosher Doritos. Someone might actually think, I wonder if we'll get more money if we make these Doritos kosher. I mean,
you know, I'm thinking that's their new Super Bowl spot. What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Natasha?
You've got nothing to lose except maybe like a statement from Doritos saying don't do any more of it, or we will crucify you.
Right. But yeah, the majority of our sketches are actually.
So it's just frozen.
The stuff that's gone viral on our channel are typically the like Avengers parodies or Spider-Man, Iron Man, all that kind of stuff. So I've played I played Spider-Man, Captain America, Wolverine, Robin, but a 1960s Robin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like it's always
vintage Robin.
People love that stuff. You know.
Have you ever dressed up as a woman and played a woman character?
Actually, there's a sketch, or there's a Spoof Troop sketch where I played the girl from Transformers. What is her name? Do you know the girl that stars in it?
I only know there's Bumblebee. I don't really know the Transformers that well.
Yeah. Oh God, what's her name? But yeah. Anyway, to answer your question,
there's like one girl. Is there like one female Transformers? Is there?
What's that?
Is there like one Transformers that's a woman? No.
Okay, this was Shia LaBeouf's love interest in one of the Transformers movies.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm not really into Transformers, but
yeah.
Okay, so like a robotic Transformers.
Yeah. By the way, don't take that personally, guys. Don't take that personally. I got a bunch of Transformers right here that are crying. So
that's okay.
Close their ears to you not being a fan.
But you've never done, you've never put a wig on and a dress and
No, I did. Yeah. For that sketch, I did.
Oh, okay.
I played, and I forget the actress's name, but she's like a big actress. Maybe I'll look it up.
I always find it really funny whenever I see like when guys dress up like women when they play those traditional roles.
Yeah. Well, I did it in Shakespeare when I did Midsummer Night's Dream. I played flute / Thisbe, And in that, like, I'm making out with a wall and I'm dressed in the whole garb, like, like long hair. And actually, kind of a funny story is that this was a college production at Los Angeles Valley College. I believe Christopher Coddington was the director. And a great director. I love that guy. And also I took his acting classes, just a lovely teacher. And in fact, just to get a little bit even more off tangent, is he did this exercise with us where he would have us juggling, right? And I remember like the actors were asking like, why are we juggling? Like, why do we need this? And he's like, one day you guys will know. And I had an epiphany the other day, or this was like a while back. It was when I was on set and I was getting like literally every department was giving me a note, right? I was like, sound department, I was getting a note, makeup, hair, props department, cinematographer, director, like all these notes are coming in and you have to somehow juggle it all and still act. And that's when I had that epiphany. I was like, that's why he had us juggle. But so to get that,
did it work?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think it's more of like a metaphorical type of lesson where it's like,
I think that'd be really cool to like see someone juggling. It'd be so unexpected. It's like a fucking Hail Mary, isn't it? It's like nothing else is working. I may as well juggle.
And now it's also a great skill. Like one of my friends can do it really well. And he booked like a SAG national commercial because he had that skill. So number one, it's a good skill. But number two, I think it was a metaphorical lesson about acting, how it's like, this is really important to be able to juggle many things metaphorically in the scene and still do your job and don't let that get to your head. So, but to bring it back to the play, he was
are we back to the Shakespeare play?
The Shakespeare, yeah. So to bring it back to the Shakespeare play, so I had this quick costume change, right, where I go from Flute to Thisbe. Thisbe is the character where it's a woman, right? So I had like maybe a 45-second change, and I remember like I go out and I have the wardrobe department. They're there. There's like 3 girls that help me with this change, because this is what has to happen. First of all my clothes have to come off except for the underwear, right? Yeah. And then I have to get into this bra with like, giant fake knockers. Right. And then I got to put a dress on. And then I got to have this giant wig that goes over that. And then I think a bonnet. And then, I think there was a bonnet and then like a belt over it.
Wow.
As you would expect, that 45-second change didn't go flawlessly one night. And one night I'm standing there, like, and by the way, this is all backstage. So I'm backstage, and all of a sudden I just feel my underwear get like pulled down, and I'm like, it happens in slow motion. I'm like, am I naked right now? I feel like I'm naked right now. I think they accidentally pulled down my underwear. Oh yeah, they did. Okay.
Oh no. You got to pull it up on stage.
Yeah, I had to pull it back up. Yeah. So I put it back up, and then everybody was like,
did you get laughs?
Well, no, this all unfortunately this happened backstage.
All happened backstage.
Had that happen on stage, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been good.
Yes.
No, I don't want to say that because it probably was good, but I mean, it would have just added to it. I mean, but this is the funny thing about audience. I mean, when you're an audience member, you're in a very sort of safe spot because you get to watch. You're not the one that's under pressure. Like, it's the actors on stage who are, they're the ones that have to deal with their nerves and pressure and what they need to do. But an audience member can sit there and, get their alcohol, or they sneak in or whatever. Not that I would do that. I'd buy it.
Doing a snake? Did you say a snake?
Sneak it in.
Oh, sneak. Okay, got it.
Well, like put it in your bag and just.
Yeah, that's my fault. I just watched that Harry Potter HBO reunion, so yeah, that snake was fresh on my mind from Harry Potter, not the snake.
I haven't seen that yet. It's
I'm a little bit of a Harry Potter fan, so yeah.
I think I've got it on. What have I got it on? I think I've got it on binge. But I've been watching another show called Succession.
Of course, yeah. Everybody's talking about it. I've seen an episode, but I haven't yet gotten into it. Like, I hear that it takes like 3 episodes to get really into it. It just keeps growing. It gets really good. It's just
because at first the characters aren't super likable, right? But then
but then
they're not meant to be likable.
They're not meant to be likable.
Not meant to be likable. No, it's just it's one of those typical sort of, it's not really typical, but it's like an inside look at a media conglomerate family where, you know, the father figure, the head of the beast is evil and horrible, and he just keeps, it's just about mergers and acquisitions, and the children that are set to inherit everything, but they want the old man to fuck off and die so that they can take over. And you know, it's one of those things, but it's done in a very, it takes you a while to figure out what I liked about it is it's very intelligent, and you're kind of trying to figure out, would any of these people actually be able to do this? Because you can't really, because they're all trying to please daddy to get in his graces. And this father just head fucks his children. He makes them feel like you're the one that's going to, you know, carry the company, and, you know, but then he'll just last minute just say, that's a shit idea and I don't like it. And so this person has just been running through hoops and fire and whatever, and then their dad's just like, I don't want that anymore. You know, it's just a real, it's quite.
No, I fear his character is based on Rupert Murdoch, but I don't know if that's actually, but I guess it would make sense.
It would make sense. We can only imagine, because we're creative people that can imagine things.
Yeah, of course.
But it's, I mean, obviously I really liked it, and I look forward to seeing more of it.
Yeah,
I've also been watching Michael Keaton in Dope Sick. Have you seen Dope Sick on it's Disney Plus?
No, I haven't. That's on Disney Plus. I'll have to check that out. The problem is there's so much great content.
So many good things. And that's about oxycodone. That's about oxycodone and big pharma, and
I saw the trailer for it. I saw that, and it looks fascinating.
It's really good.
Like 100%.
It's really good. I really like that too. I go through phases of like watching things like Walking Dead, and then I'll go into something else, and then I'll go into something ridiculous. I'll look at stand up, and I'll like, you know, I love Chappelle.
Well, I got to say, The Walking Dead, I was a huge epic fan. Like, I was reading the comics. I even wrote into the comics because at the end of that's filmed in LA, is that? No, that's shot in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe. But there are also a bunch of spin-offs, so I don't know where the spin-offs are shot.
Like Fear of the Walking Dead and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then there's a new one, like, I forget the name of it, but yeah, I was reading the comics religiously, and I will tell you this, by the way. I pitched Robert Kirkman is the creator of I believe that's his name, the creator of the comic, and which the show is based on.
Yep.
And I wrote in because at the end of every comic, there's a letter column, right, where people can write in, and then he features the letters. So I wrote in pitching like a Jewish character.
Oh, great.
Comic, because I wanted to see representation of Jews in this comic, because it's like, wait, so you're telling me there's a zombie apocalypse and there's not one Jew around? Like, what's going on? Like,
I've actually thought that.
Making gefilte fish or something. Like, I'll be a gefilte fish making Jew on a you know, by the docks. And, so I think I pitched something like that.
And Arabs, it's like Middle Easterns and Greeks. Like, where are the Greeks? Where are the? I mean,
other countries being represented.
Where are the other countries in this? It's like I think like in the later ones they've put in like some English, you know. I think there was like an English, some English, but I mean, as far as zombies go, I guess it's really hard to. I mean, how could they do it? I guess. I mean, a zombie with a hijab, maybe. I mean, might be.
But that would be cool to see.
Or a rabbi zombie.
I want to see a rabbi zombie
walking together. You know.
Okay, maybe there's not a lot of rabbis in Atlanta, Georgia, or wherever the show is, wherever the show takes place. But there's got to be one, right?
There's got to be one. That's right.
I'll take a zombie rabbi as an extra in the background. Just give me something.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. That's actually a good point. I did quite like that show. I got into a lot of serial killer shows. I think women are really loving that stuff. I don't know why. It's like women really love. I've noticed that women are more into like a lot of violent stuff than men these days.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, just.
By the way, speaking of, have you seen the show called Fauda?
No.
Okay, that show, like speaking of like violent action show, like that's like a very solid show.
How's it spelled?
Fauda, and it's very well made, and it's like, yeah, you can't help but like that's one of the shows that you start watching and you get glued to it, and like you have to watch it, and it really deals with the main guy who stars on the show. It's actually about his life, how he worked as like a I think they call it a cyber it's the Israeli counter-terrorism unit.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. Like I don't know exactly what the title is, but you see it's the conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis, and but it's really well done, and it's not necessarily favoring either side. It's just telling the story.
Yeah.
And there's amazing, beautiful acting from both sides.
Do you know? When I was doing I did a Bachelor of Arts, majoring in political science and literature, and one of the subjects I did was making of the modern Middle East. Mm-hmm. And one of the assignments that I had was to look at the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, and I came up with a solution to it. I'm sure everyone has come up with a solution. Yeah,
everybody has made their,
everybody. Yeah. Everybody.
They just
you know what my solution was?
We eat cookies every day, like just everybody gets cookies, like chocolate chip cookies.
My solution was change the immigration is key. Change the immigration policy. Like in my head, it's like I'd have these dreams, like these creative electrical moments of these dreams that would keep me up, and it would be just bring in a lot of Asians and Indians, because they'll set up all their businesses, and then the Arabs and the Jews will be like, they're fucking taking our businesses. They're taking over with their, and then they'll bond over that and go, we need to do something about this. So one, they'll be preoccupied with the different ethnicities. But if immigration changed to allow more cultures in, it would be, and dilute don't make it so, have more multicultural, make it more multicultural, then who do you fight? You can't, because I mean, but then the Arabs and the Jews might get together to fight the others, and they'll go, but then they'll still fight each other. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but.
By the way, there's, while we're on the subject, Conan O'Brien did a really interesting thing when he visited Israel. He actually did an episode where he visits the set of Fauda. And it's really funny because he does this scene where he gets interrogated, or I think actually he either gets interrogated or he's interrogating the main guy on the show. And it's just so hilarious. So yeah, when it comes to like the Arab-Israeli conflicts, like that's a fantastic show to watch. And honestly, it's so well done that I get emotional watching it. I'm like, oh, and I get like upset, I get angry, I get heartbroken, all my emotions run the gambit. And
I'm definitely gonna watch it.
And I'm like, I need to calm down. Yeah,
I recommend it. I find all military actions anywhere just a complete fucking waste of time. What a waste of life. What a waste of living to be in conflict or war. And the older that I've become, the more I used to be more of someone who used to, get really into a cause, and I'd fight for it, and I'd be really angry, and I'd be fucking there sending emails to, the Prime Minister and my local ministers and all this stuff. And as I've gotten older, it's just, life is so precious, and, any of us can die in any minute. And why?
Literally just yeah.
Well,
he was like 65 or something.
Who's this?
Bob Saget. Like he just died, I believe, like yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, people are dying. I mean, we're all dying. We're all going to die. you know, I could be dead. Hopefully I'll get this interview out before that's.
Well, yeah.
So David doesn't feel bad about it, and I don't feel bad that, you know, it's Pizazz news continues.
Don't die.
But, I mean, you know, that's the thing. We don't know when we're going to die, and it's you know, someone very dear to me has got cancer. He's got cancer. He had it before a few years ago. He was told he was going to die, but he didn't. He's got it again. It's people die. And get sick, and they're young and healthy, and 1 minute and the next minute,
yeah,
you know, and I guess that's why it's like the thing about entertainment and news and media, and you know, these things are important in a world where we've got the reality of our imminent death. It's
right.
good to love.
And bills and taxes. Bills, taxes, and
yeah, taxes and death. It's
the two things that are certain in life, right?
Yeah. Another certain thing in life is that you've got a very positive mindset about what you're doing. And we were talking before we started recording, and you were telling me how, you know, you did spend many years not being able to make a living from this, and you did a whole range of different jobs.
Oh yeah.
But then you just persevered with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk a bit about that.
Yeah, you know, well, first of all, I would say that I think the majority of actors that are, when they're starting off, they're not like instantly able to support themselves. There's very few. I think I was listening to an interview with Michael, what's his name? You know, I forget his name, but I think he's like from The Shield. Chickless, I think Mike. I think Chickless. Either Chickless or it was, or what's his name from the Die Hard movies? Not Mel Gibson, but they kind of look similar. I'm not good with celebrity names. What's that guy's name? Do you know?
In Die Hard?
Yeah, the main
Bruce
guy.
Willis?
Bruce Willis. Yeah. So it was either Bruce Willis or Michael Chickless that.
Okay, so bald.
Yeah, bald
guy.
Confusing them all together.
A bald guy that. Yeah.
Huh?
I love the show The Shield. That's a great show.
Yeah. So one of them was doing an interview, and they were like, yeah, you know, my first audition, like I went out for this like big TV show, I booked it, and then I was just working, and I haven't stopped since, and I've been supporting myself from it. And it's like, that is very rare. That is very rare. And also maybe there's not as much of a payoff for that. Like it's not as exciting story as like people that have had to really struggle, you know, like, I mean, I've literally had almost every job. Like I started off as a barista, and then I was a massage therapist, and then I was doing security work for ArcLight theaters, where funny enough, I was actually like sometimes like helping celebrities, like escort them like from their cars to the campus, to then like into like screening rooms, to Q&As.
So you could have been shot. You put yourself in danger.
Defending these people, yeah. And but it was actually really cool getting to meet all these different celebrities, like Matthew McConaughey, and it's like.
Oh, did you actually get to meet Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
Was he polite?
Yeah, he was very polite. Yeah, he was there for.
Was he all right?
He was very all right. Yeah. Yeah. There were a lot. Robert Pattinson. There were just so many celebrities, like all the time at ArcLight Hollywood, like with the Cinerama Dome. So I was doing security work there. You know, I've been like a wedding photographer, videographer. I've worked in a balloon store. And actually, funny enough, like it was actually a luxury balloon store in Santa Monica, where most of our clientele were actually famous. So it's like I did balloons for Kobe Bryant. So there's that. I need to take a little bow because I made balloons for Kobe Bryant.
Did you have, was it like helium balloons so you didn't have to blow them up yourself?
No, I blow by mouth. Okay.
Really?
No. So we actually, in the shop, it's called Balloon Celebrations in Santa Monica. Fantastic shop, highly recommend. But it is a little expensive.
Of course it would be. They're probably like $5 a balloon or something.
Yeah,
Right.
about like that. Yeah, it adds up quick. But the thing is, like, we're also charging for delivery, and and sometimes set up and then tear down fees. So it balloons get expensive. People don't realize, or people should know this.
I know that now after New Year's Eve, after trying to get just a packet of balloons and
Yeah,
being lied to about them, thinking I could blow them up, but then
yeah.
they were helium balloons, and I was like, why didn't you tell me that? So
That's
now I know.
part of the problem is helium. As the years go by, helium is getting more expensive because there's only a finite supply of helium, which they get from the ground. And there's been recently, especially during COVID, it's been harder for them to get it. So the prices have inflated.
Wow. You should you should write to people that are known for balloons and talk to them about a commercial, because you know this stuff.
Yeah. Hey, I'd be.
Why not?
Yeah. But yeah, so to answer your question, we would do the balloons in the back room. We had a back room that it's actually pretty cool. Like, you have like every balloon imaginable in these like little bins, right? And everything is color coded. So it's actually like you're walking into a rainbow of latex.
Oh, wow.
But then you got confetti, and you got this and that, and you got the foil balloons. And so it feels like you're in an artist's playground or something.
You're celebrating. It's a very nice, it's a nice environment to be in.
Yeah. So we make it there, and then we ship it in these giant like sprinter vans. And part of my job also was like doing the sprinter vans. And luckily enough, I had experience in the sprinter van, because when I worked at a bakery, I had to drive around and deliver bread in a big.
I want to ask you something. So, do you think, like, working in that balloon place, people are going to work in a really colorful environment? Are they happier or not? Did you notice a difference in happiness levels, or?
That's an interesting question, and I would say yes and no. Like, it did definitely attract some personalities that are very creative. Like, a lot of the people that work there are fantastic artists, and it's like, I see their sketches, and it's like, yeah, absolutely, like they got that creative side, so yeah. And it's interesting because, like, when I was also a bartender too, and when I was bartending, it was another thing where, like, you meet all these really interesting types of characters, and that's your typical actor job, and I was a waiter too at a restaurant, a server, but bartending was probably, of all of the jobs that I've done, probably the most fun, because you are kind of the life of the party. And here's the thing is, when you're the bartender, it is your job to bring the energy, to bring that energy and be entertaining and stuff like that.
And with that said, to get people drunk and happy. I mean,
exactly, make sales. But actually, I do have to correct you on that, because we're not technically allowed to get people drunk. We can get people intoxicated, but within the limits, and then we have to start to slowly, 86.
So you have to be responsible and
responsible. Right. Yeah, of course. I've never gotten anybody drunk, so
no.
I'm not. No comment.
And the whole thing about being intoxicated, whatever kind of intoxicated a person is, it's the environment should be a safe. It should be a safe one for everybody. I mean, otherwise, it's nobody likes, the evil Harvey Weinstein sort of fucking character, or Jeffrey Epstein, and just.
Well, here's the good thing is that there's people out there, there are good bartenders that are very attentive, right? Or attentive? Yeah, that's the right word. Attentive, yes. And it's like when they see people that are acting strangely, they don't sit around and be quiet about it. And I've heard many great stories of people like maybe they see like a girl goes to the bathroom, right? And she leaves. Now, the etiquette when you leave a bar is to take your coaster and put it on top of your drink, right? Sometimes people don't do it. So this girl, like, she went to the bathroom, and then the bartender, noticed, right? And then the bartender had been eyeing this like creepy dude the whole time. And when she left, he went over to her drink and put something in it. And what the bartender did was, like, he took the drink, threw it away, kicked this guy out of the bar, like, get the hell out of here, called the cops or whatever, and then told the girl what had happened, and used it as a teaching opportunity to be safer. And and just be more aware of your surroundings. We can never be more aware. So
that's
so
great.
there are good people out there that are fighting the good fight, you know?
Yeah, that's a bit like, I remember being in a situation where I mean, sometimes I've been a little bit like trying to save, I get into this trying to save people from, you know, horrible elements, and it doesn't work. And then I get really frustrated afterwards because it's like, I told you this would happen, or and then that's why it's that, yeah. So I do remember seeing these two young girls in are you actually drinking alcohol? Is that water?
Yeah, no, this is a gin and tonic, and I just made it bad. I was like pretending
it was wine.
Yeah, you got wine. We're having a great time. Yeah.
I told you I'd be having a wine, and yeah, and I do remember like these two young girls were at a public toilet. Right next to it was a car park, and I said, "Where's your mum?" And they're like, "Oh, she's just sitting at McDonald's." And I walked with them back, and I said to the mother, I said, "You shouldn't, like, there's a car park right next to that public toilet. It'd be very easy for someone to come and snatch those little girls, right? And then you'd hate yourself for it." And she got really shitty with me and told me off, you know. And but my conscience was clear. Yeah. But the thing is that even if she got shitty at me, I hope that she'd think, that weird fucking woman that came up to me, you know, I better not let my girls go on their own in case some weirdo. And that's what you hope that people think, because unfortunately there are weirdos out there, and it's not even women. I mean, it could even be you, David. You could find yourself in a situation with someone in a really, I'm sure.
Maybe, yeah, you can never be too careful. Yeah, you know,
never be too. You've got a memory there. I can see you looking up, like you've got a memory there.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just saying, like, so I just shot, like, it was like a Super Bowl adjacent commercial last week. I shot 2 commercials last week, and one of them we were shooting on the beach, right? Yeah. And our base camp was literally on PCH in a parking lot. And the thing is, like, anybody could just access it, right? And it's like, and nothing weird happened, but it was just like it was just like an awkward extra that was like weird that came up to me, and I was like, I was in mid conversation with one of the other actors, right? And we were like discussing, I don't even remember what the conversation was, but he just like came right in the middle and said like, "Hey, are you wearing makeup?" And then it was just like, I'm like, yeah. It was like, oh, no. What is going on? It was just like the most awkward thing. And then he's like, oh, so you're one of the actors. And then he just like walked off. I'm like, okay, that was super bizarre. Now, obviously nothing happened. Like, it was just a weird encounter, but that made me realize, like, yeah, I mean, like, we're literally right here. Like, anybody could just walk onto this set.
Anything could happen.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you just have to be aware of your surroundings. And I think that a lot of times when we're on sets, we feel like there's a safety bubble around us. Like, oh yeah, I could just leave my purse, my wallet here, or my backpack, it'll be fine. And generally it is, because they'll have security, but security isn't omnipresent. They're not going to see, hear everything. So it's like, you got to remember, like, a film set may feel like Disneyland, but it's not exactly as safe as Disneyland, assuming Disneyland is.
I don't know what happened to Disneyland, to be honest with you. I hope it's a nice place. I've been there before when I was little, and it's a great experience to go to Disneyland. But
I love Disneyland. My brother and his 2 daughters, they go there. I don't know if quite often is the right term, but I know that when they go, like, I see Instagram stories, and it's the cutest thing ever. Just seeing the little girls like walking around and loving and meeting like Daffy, or not Daffy, that's Magic Mountain, but meeting like Mickey and all of his friends.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, it's great. Okay, so you've also booked a role for a soap opera. I can't mention what it is.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. They're very, as you can imagine, they're very strict about.
But it's a big soap opera, and you just booked it. That was yesterday, and so you start shooting tomorrow, this morning.
Yeah. It was a very quick process. Yeah.
That's great. That's fantastic. And yeah, you've had quite a few. You've had quite the week. That's why I thought I'd do it this week, because last week you had quite a few things on, and I think I said to Daryl that, look, don't worry about this week. We'll do it next week, because I didn't want to.
I think it was 3 commercials. Yeah, it was kind of busy. It was a little bit busy.
It's good. I mean, it's isn't it every actor's dream to be busy, to be working?
Yes, it's such a blessing. And the thing is, I take every job with a good, helpful serving of gratitude and appreciation, because I know that it's a gift. It truly is a gift, every job. And I think a good attitude to have, and I remember learning this like on one of my first film sets ever, was like I was just an extra with another extra, and we were talking, and she was talking about how she's been like upgraded a few times to getting lines. And she was saying like, yeah, to be honest, like I just went up to the director after we finished and I said like, hey, I appreciate you having me on set today. I had so much fun. And that was it. And what the story is, that she was just expressing gratitude, being like genuinely happy to be there, and being a friendly person. And those are the 3 keys, I think, to it's just such a key, because when you are able to have those personality traits and like really genuinely do that, I think it just attracts people to you and work to you.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. And I think we were talking about this before, like I was saying to you that I've come across some people who are very talented, like so amazing, but you can just, and unfortunately it is kind of, you don't just pick a person that's got skills, you also pick a person that you get along with or you like.
Oh, that's a huge part of casting.
And some people just don't, I don't think that they believe that, or they don't understand it. Because I mean, even like doing an interview, it's like, I have learned that, yeah, I can interview or do written interviews with people that I might not like what they're doing, but whatever. Yeah. But it makes it harder for me, because I don't like what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, I can appreciate what they're doing, but I don't like that genre. For example, maybe country music. I may not like that genre.
Right.
I know it's fucking popular in America, okay? I know. But it's like, I'm just like, I don't know.
Not everybody is. I'm not a huge country music fan.
I find it very difficult to sort of like, to me, it's like, I can accept country music if someone says Patsy Cline or Elvis Presley. I can accept that. But I still don't see it as country like some of the other stuff. And it's like, I don't know, it's always better to go where the energy is, or where the truth is in anything. And sometimes people can do really great work, but they can be real assholes. And it's like, well, I don't want to help this person. Because if they're like an asshole with me, what are they going to be like with other people? They might be very talented and great stand-ups and fucking wonderful, but they're assholes. And it's like, why would I waste my time helping this person?
Absolutely. And to bring it to acting for a second, like that coach that I had, Killian, he was telling me, or he was actually telling the class rather, in a lesson, that one day he was in a callback session for a big SAG national commercial campaign, and they had a girl come in, and she was great, right? And as soon as she left the room, the director turned to Killian and said like, hey Killian, like, is that girl cool? And what he meant is like, is this a girl that we can hang out with? Like, it's a 3-day shoot or something, like we're gonna be stuck with her for like 72 hours. Like, is that going to be hell? Are you going to be a diva, or is she cool? We can like hang. And he's like, you know what? I don't know. Let me call the agent. So then he called the agent. And when he was on the phone with the agent, they have this shorthand where it's like, they know, like the agent knows, like the agent's not going to go out on a limb for an actor that's like has a reputation for being hard to work with. So it's like, if that girl like isn't cool, the agent is not going to risk their own reputation and the relationship with the cast director to be like, oh yeah, she's great, and then she's on set and pisses people off or whatever, or just has a crabby attitude, and now the relationship is broken. So yes, like all that is so important to working. And we don't know that, like, unless you hear a story like that, you would never know.
You would not know.
You would never know. And that's why it's like, you just have to
Yeah.
It's important. Like, that's why it's of no surprise when you do see people working, like one of my buddies, David Banks, who
yes, David Banks, Mr. Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I was so surprised when sorry to interrupt you, when I was having a look at your body of works, and I came across a commercial. I was like, David Banks is in there. And what's really funny is seeing him play a gay guy, because I would never have thought, anyone who knows David Banks is like, you just can't imagine it. And it was just like seeing him play as, you know, you can't really, it hints at it. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah. So
because he's thinking that his partner's like, you know, leaving, and then you show up with the car and car gurus, and it's like, you're here. And it's like, oh, you're leaving me? It's like, no, I just want more room in the trunk. Right. Oh, okay. That's what you mean by space.
Right. Yeah. He's like, I need more space. And then David, space. What do you mean? Wait, you leave? You can't leave me. Not in Spanish. Yeah.
And then you show up.
Whoa. Yeah, he just found a great deal, like with car gurus. Like,
he's found a great deal with car gurus.
Yeah, or something, whatever the shit was. Yeah, and then he's like, yeah.
And that was really good. It was like, you know, and you see, and here's another thing. Like for me, it's like, oh, because I know David Banks, it's like it immediately makes me think, well, this David must be a cool guy too.
By association, yeah, of course.
By association, that's what I mean.
But yeah, and to finish that thought, that's the thing, is it's no surprise that a guy like that is working constantly, because he's such a great dude, and he's got such great positive vibes and all that kind of stuff. So
he's so positive.
So important. It's so important.
Yeah, he's very positive, and he's very switched on. He knows what he's talking about, and he's so commercially minded. Like with what he does, doing commercials, it's those things are very expensive to do. He's very experienced. He's not going to waste anyone's time. He knows how to be, and he does try to help actors. Like, you know, he does try to help.
But he's a little plug is he's got a great book on booking commercials. I think the title is like How to Make a Living with Commercials. David Banks, something along those.
Yeah,
you got it.
I've got his book. Yeah, I've got his book.
That's the book. That's amazing. I actually have the book too.
And it's up on my Pizazz website. It's under books, book reviews, and so you got my book, Pizazz, which you'll see. But I've got David Banks. I've only got a few that I've put up there, and
it sounds like a fantastic collection already.
Yeah, it is good, and I remember reading it, and I do tell like some young actors, you know, go if you're in LA or you're going to be there, try and get into one of his classes, you know, be friends with him and get to know him. And his book is really good because he talks about the industry. He's got industry experience, as you do, and I think you said it. You're a writer too, so you could write a book. Your perspective.
I'd be open to it. Yeah, I would definitely. It's definitely something that I could think about. I know. I was also considering, or at least playing with the idea of maybe doing like a video series, and maybe doing like a video class, and just like breaking it down into different modules of like how to book acting work in a similar way to what David did so well. So
yeah, he did it really well. You could do that too, and then why not? I mean, like there's plenty of room in this world for everybody to bring their own light, and I mean,
and I wish
you're both so different. You and David Banks are very different. You might have the same first name,
right?
But you're both different. It's like, you know, someone that's going to pick David Banks will pick him for being him. Someone that's going to pick you will pick you for you. There's no.
And I think if there's one message I want people to go away leaving with, if they're, let's say they're an actor watching this and, you know, are hoping to get some kind of gems or whatnot, I think like if there's one thing, maybe it's just that there's room for everybody, and like really understand that. And that what does that mean? That means that you need to always be your authentic, genuine self. You know, that like, I mean, like, let that freak flag fly. You know, show us who you really are with your friends in your commercial audition.
Let that freak flag fly, but also not, right? If you're too much of a freak.
Well, hey, you know, within reason, okay? I don't know. You know,
I know it's like, you know, when they always say, just be yourself, but it's like, hang on.
Yeah.
Before you be yourself.
Flag first, and I'll let you know.
before when I was younger, you know, I always think being myself was, and I was a bit of a crazy anarchist feminist, you know, out there. It's before I be myself, I have to understand that, you know, some of my crazy off views of things may not be conventionally acceptable. So why would I be that? Because people may not like that. But as I've gotten older, I am who I am, and I really can't help it. Even if I do try to help it, David, like when I do try to be someone I'm not to fit in,
right,
it'll come out before I know it. It'll come out and people go, oh, you're not the conservative little boring girl that we thought you were. You know, it's like,
yeah.
You've lived a very rich and robust life.
I only want to ever see the real, genuine Natasha Stone.
Oh, really? All right. I'll try my best. I'll try my best.
Excellent.
But you're absolutely right. The more we can be ourselves, the more I guess for an act, you know, if you're acting, the more you can be yourself. Like, you don't know, they might have an idea of something, but then they might see you and go, I like the way they've done it. Like you're talking about buttons at the end of commercials. Yeah. You might do something that they thought, oh, that's different. I quite like that.
Yeah, I think it's a very, you know, that whole
has that happened? I want to ask you, has that happened to you where you've gone into something and booked it, where they were wanting something completely different, but then they went with you?
That's a good, oh, you know what? Well, I will tell you this, that I think I can say this, that for car gurus, they initially were just, from, you know, this is what I've heard. I'm not 100% sure, but from what I understand, they initially were looking just for a girl to be the car guru.
Wow.
And then we did, so in 2020, we did some casting for that. And so I actually found this out because I did a commercial for Meijer, which is a grocery chain in the United States. And
are you talking about Meijer? We have a Meijer here, and why here?
I think so. Oh, no, with a J, Meijer, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's something different. We don't have that.
But the actor that was there, she told me that she actually auditioned to be the car guru. And in fact, actually, here's another little tidbit: is the girl in the commercial, when I drive up into her living room, and then she's on the computer in the office, she auditioned to be the car guru also. And yeah, so evidently they were looking for a woman, and then ultimately decided to go for a man, and that's when they brought me in along with the rest of Los Angeles to read. And then they went, and then initially, and then I did a bunch of spots with them. And then in 2021, we shot a bunch more spots with a female car guru to kind of do it with me. And then they started releasing both of those this year in 2021. And now through 2022, it looks like it's going, yeah.
You stole that from David Banks?
Well, okay, David would tell you himself that he wouldn't want that role.
Is that what he would say? He didn't want it anyway.
He doesn't need it. Actually tells his agents not to submit him for spokesperson roles. He doesn't like doing it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I love that. I'm going to I'll put this up on Twitter, and I'll include David Banks in this so he sees it. He sees that.
Please do.
I should probably interview him again on Zoom. I haven't done a Zoom one with him.
You haven't done a Zoom?
Why not? I'll ask him. He's busy though, but he's cool. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I just wanted to bring it back as far as like the idea of just being your genuine self. There's a very pragmatic reason for that. And it's that if you just do the lines as is, right, and you make the same choices as everybody else, then you're blending in, right? But the second you give them a flavor of who you are, your true essence, right, and you let that shine through the script, maybe you're changing some words around to make it feel more like you, and it's like, oh, I wouldn't say welcome to McDonald's, I'd say like, hey, how's it going? Come, like, well, you know, or what's up? Thanks for coming to McDonald's, right? You could change it up, put some flavor on it, because that way now casting and production and agency, they start noticing you, because now you're standing out from everybody else who is just saying the lines like, hey, welcome to McDonald's, or, you know, or whatever it is.
I get it. I like that. And I like the way you did that introduction to McDonald's rather than welcome to McDonald's, you know?
Yeah, like, hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming in to McDonald's today. You know,
You
something
know
like
what?
that.
It's actually a really difficult thing to do. Like, I mean, I do these interviews, and I always find at the start sometimes it can be really difficult. That's why I drink, because it doesn't come naturally to me. I don't think until I'm a bit more relaxed to do it, because it's just me. And you know, sometimes you feel like a bit of a dork. Hi, welcome to Pizazz News. Oh, welcome. You know, it is what it is. I mean, I just try my best, and I try not to think too much about it. And yeah, sometimes if I look back at it and I'll look at it myself and I'll go, oh, that looks like so contrived, or like you were trying to do this. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck, because it's my thing. It's what I'm doing. And I also learn from it.
Right.
And I also, like, the more that I've just learned that the more that I do it, the better I get. And one of the things I've learned is the more I choose the people that I like, that I connect with, the better it will be. And that's good. Other people will like it too, because they don't have to fucking watch this. You know?
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
it's a choice. I'm taking minutes of their life, you know, to watch this. They should watch it, because it's fucking good, and it's better than a lot of shit that's out there. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of garbage out there.
There's a lot of garbage out there, you know. But I enjoy what I do, and it's just kind of grown. And it's good what I do, because I know from feedback that it's helped people, and I like that. It's like, oh, I'm really glad that helped someone, or it gave them confidence with what they're doing to keep going. You know what I mean?
That's great. Yeah.
And it makes me feel good. It's like, oh, I helped someone. You know, I was successful in some way to help somebody. It makes me feel good.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's the same thing of like, you know, it always feels better to like give somebody, to be in a position where it's like, oh, you can give somebody a gift, you know.
And you do that. You do that with your commercials. I mean, there's obviously, they know in order to get their name out there, they have to get actors who bring some life to their business, you know, and that's why they pick somebody that will do that, because you're helping them and you're helping other people who are looking for cars. I don't drive, but I have a lot of people I know do drive, and it's like, if they're looking for a certain car, I'll tell them, what about car gurus?
Yeah, nice.
And I do that with anybody. Like, oh, if they're doing this, it's like, oh, well, I know a person who said this about that, so that's good.
Yeah.
You know, well, it's all that I know. If you're looking for this, go there. It's like,
right. Yeah, you just can't help but help people. You just can't help it. It's part of your nature.
Yeah, it is. It's a good thing. Like, you know, I think it's better to help people, even if they may disappoint you but I think that about life in general, with relationships with anybody in whatever context. It's better to you know, be kind to people and to trust people and to help them. And there is that saying, the way to know if you can trust someone is to trust them and see what happens.
Right. Yeah, maybe give them like small, like, you know, trust.
Yeah, small increments of trust. Like, I'm not saying go give, you know, your bank account details to someone that you've just rang you.
And my credit card. Here you go.
There you go. You seem like a trustworthy person.
Right,
you know?
right.
Oh, you're from Nigeria? That's okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. Well, I'm so wrapped that we were able to do this, have this wonderful interview, and I'm so awesome to meet you.
Likewise, I am so appreciative of you bringing me in to do this interview. It's been amazing. I've had a super fun time being here and being interviewed by you, the amazing Natasha Stone.
Oh, thank you, David. Well, I'm really glad that you like it, and
I did.
It's a great start to 2022.
Yes. Yeah.
You're like I was going to start a bit later, but you know, sometimes things happen and you go, you know what, let's just do this. Let's do it. And I was like, right, Daryl, let's lock that in. Let's lock it in. And don't worry, I'll show up. Do not stress.
Amazing, amazing.
So I thank you very much for giving your time so freely and to talking to everybody and sharing your real life experiences and being so candid and honest with everything. I really do appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of how you're going along, and hopefully this year your career will be even more big and successful.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Virtual, I'm giving you a virtual hug.
Oh, I'm giving you a virtual hug too. Oh. So I'll say cheers to you. You probably finished your drink.
Cheers to you as well.
Cheers.
Yeah, I had to refill a little bit. Yeah. Cheers.
I've got my bottle here. I'm all right.
Yeah. Oh, good.
All right, so I'll
Cheers
catch you later. Here's to 2022. Cheers.
2022. Clink.
Clink. Is it good?
Yes. Yeah.
So you're an actor, and it looks clear. It could be water. I don't know.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Well,
cordial.
You told me you were going to be sipping on some libations, so I decided to partake as well.
That's right. I did tell you that, just in case. And give you permission to have a drink if you wanted to, of your choosing, because some people may not want to. I don't know. Everyone I talk to does drink, but.
Oh, okay, good.
Sometimes people in these things, they may not want to drink because they may worry how they'll look, like an alcoholic or perhaps
just like a normal person. Hey, you know what? We're living through a pandemic, baby.
We're living through a time where we're seeing an apocalypse almost, perhaps. The world's just gone mad.
Society, yeah. Hey, you know what? It's 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, Pacific Standard Time. We can drink if we want to.
Well, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Australia.
That's the perfect time to drink.
It's the perfect time to drink before I head out into the shops. And, I'm going to get a fedora hat today for an event that I'm going to. So I'm going to get a hat.
If you find one for me, let me know. And
what color?
Either black or brown, I would say, I think.
For auditions or?
Just for fun. I think just for
fun.
Still wear it, yeah.
I love the background that you've got. Do you do that for your auditions?
Yes, I do. So that backdrop, now I actually had different iterations of it. I used to have a blue, kind of like a studio blue.
Okay.
And I also had a white, just bright white. But then I started using this and just felt like, you know what, I'm going to use this for all the tapes. It's a little bit more on the theatrical side, but I use it for my commercials too. And yeah.
It's textured, and it's
contrast too. It's like this section is like a little bit darker, then it's like brighter in the middle, and then kind of trails off over there. I just like, it's just, nice kind of.
I know. I looked at it and I thought, well, I should think about this stuff, but I just don't. Every time I think I'll do something with the background, I just go, you know what?
You could also do a virtual. You could do a virtual background, like if I did, how to do that, right? Like if I wanted to be, your device requires a green screen. Okay. Well, I wonder what will happen if I try that. Oh, there
we go. Oh, look at that.
San Francisco.
That's San Francisco. That's the Golden Gate Bridge. Oh, hello. Man of the world.
Yeah. I love how my mustache is a green screen. They think my mustache and my beard is a green screen.
And you look younger too. So if they want somebody younger.
Yeah. Let me see if I can make my eyes.
Maybe too young.
Oh, look at my eyes.
A bit
eyes.
A bit sci-fi there.
Yeah.
There we go. That's
back to normal.
That's what they want to see. Neutrality.
Just normal.
So you could be anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you can really wow them with
this abstract color scheme is anything. It's the ocean. It's outer space. It's a ranch. in New Zealand.
It could be. It could be anywhere. It's great. I could talk for hours, but I've got to get going. You've got to get going too, because you've got your soap opera in the morning.
Yes, that's right.
I love the fact I didn't say what it was too. That's good of me.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was great.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I was realizing, like, I may have divulged a little bit more than I was supposed to for car
Hang on, I'm still recording, so
Oh.
let me just stop the recording before you say anything, because, all right, bye.
Yeah. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, thanks for watching.
Thank you. And meeting call.